All right, I just spent about 30 minutes or so outside pressure washing the heads. It's raining outside and I'm soaking wet. Let me show you what I did to these heads. So they're still wet, so obviously I'm not going to leave these wet. I'm going to be spraying me some WD-40 on. I'm going to dry them off. I'm going to spend a couple more hours doing that. A lot of people thinking it's a kind of a pain to do that, but I got a little bit of time to do that, and I want to take that extra time instead of dealing with all the rust that will accumulate on these if I do not dry them off completely and oil them back up where they need to be oiled, especially those parts where I was doing some grinding. I want to make sure that those are oiled up. So I'm gonna go get a quick shower and a cup of coffee, and then I'll catch you guys here in a little time for coffee. That's some good coffee. All right, let's get back to work. Alright, so we got lapping valves. This is an exhaust valve. And then you have your exhaust valve seat. Okay, we talked about this in the previous video. Sorry. I don't know if you can see that. I did a little bit there. But I'm just gonna, now what I don't have is, like I said a lot before in this video, that there's some stuff that's taken a while to get here. So I was talking about my Prussian blue that's on its way, and the layout fluid, the steel blue layout fluid that has not come in yet. So I'm going to just lap these right now, and I can actually be able to see where the wear pattern is on the seat as to whether or not it's seating correctly. In a later video, I can go over the Prussian blue and steel blue when that stuff comes in, but for right now, I'm going to go over the lapping and how to apply that. So this is what I have here. Pretty good stuff. Seems to do the trick, as you saw in the previous video, kind of the end result. It seemed like, I've done this before a while ago, and it seemed as if I had to do this a little bit more aggressively, probably because the amount of pitting and gunk that was on there. Most people would just go get another valve, but I'm trying to use all the parts that I can that will work for this, because I'm not trying to build a race car. I am trying to make an engine that will work reliably. So I'm hoping what I'm doing here is doing something towards that effort. Now, basically pretty simple. I got as you can see, I haven't got a whole bunch of it on there. Once I got the lapping compound on there, I want to take a little bit of engine oil and coat the stem, the valve stem, because I don't want any kind of grit or anything to get lodged in there, and I don't want to cause any undue damage to the valve stem while I'm using this process to lap the valves. Okay, so I have that in there. Now on the other, I'm gonna have to show you on the other side. The other side of the head, you'll see that I have the valve stem sticking out of here. Now, there's some out there, especially machinists, who do heads all the time. They may say not to do this. There's a tool, it's a little plunger that you put on the valve, the face of the valve. It's like a little plunger pin deal, and you suction it to the valve, and then you raise it up, bring it down, raise it up, bring it down, raise it up, bring it down. But I'm gonna do that same motion, but instead of using the hands to do that with a plunger, I'm gonna grab onto it with I got a medium drill. Like, this isn't like super fast, okay? And I'm using just really like very, 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 very light movement. I'm not gonna, so basically attach it on here slowly. I kind of push it so it doesn't grind yet. Make sure it locks in, okay? Now, I'll show you the motion with the valve. First, I'm gonna pull back with the drill and turn you see I'm turning it right here? I'm gonna push it in here just to slowly, just to get the fluid, get the compound evenly distributed around the seat, okay? Now, once I got that, I'm gonna go ahead and just start my motion. Bringing it in and out, just like this. If you turn the drill too fast, it'll fling the compound out of there a lot faster. All right, so I'm gonna take the bit off of there. Pull this guy out. Looks a little bit more gray, and the material, the grit is kind of dissipated somewhat. It's still doing grinding, but the material is breaking down bit by bit, getting smaller and smaller with each turn, which is not too shabby. Pretty good. All right, and then I'm gonna wipe this off of the valves. Now, normally at this point, I would get the Prussian blue, put it on the valve seat, and I would basically just put it in there and don't turn it, just mash it in, all right? And then you take it out, and then you'll be able to see the blue mark, hence Prussian blue, the blue mark around there, which you'll be able to take a caliper. You can pick these up at battery. You can pick these up for about 10-20 bucks. So basically, it's going to have a reading on here. Shows you the first digit, first zero is the whole number. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths of an inch. So when you move the indicator or the measuring, all right. So notice as I'm moving this larger, the number is changing. All right. So we can use that, if you guys have not used this, to measure the amount of blue that would be on here if I had Prussian blue, and to see if it's within spec. Different engines are going to be different measurements, but as long as say that I needed to be between 0.1 and 0.5 for this measurement, if I need to be between 0.1 and 0.5, I would know that, or I'm sorry, 0.1 and 0.15, I would know that I'm within spec because that would measure with spec. So the Prussian blue will show where the valve actually meets the valve seat, and then when you see that amount of blue, you'll know that that you have enough contact in order for the valve to seal properly. The steel blue, it kind of more tests the whether or not your valve seat itself is good. So both of those are tools that you can use. Does everybody use them for this process? Not necessarily. Probably should, but not everybody does. But it will tell you whether or not your seat is not warped or dislodged or something like that may be causing the valve not to seat properly. So that's what the steel blue does. But I know there's other videos out there, guys. Got some videos about that that can explain that more in detail. That's where I learned a lot of stuff is through YouTube. Hopefully I'm trying to give back a little bit. I'm hoping this is not unclear. For some of y'all, it's probably about as clear as Mississippi mud. But I'm hoping that it, kind of resonates with some of y'all. This right here is like pretty easy stuff to do. It's, for me, I don't know. It's easy. And, I was looking at like buying new valves because I was looking at the pitting on the other valves. I was looking at the pitting on the other valves, and I was noticing that I was like, man, I probably need to buy new valves, but that's like $70. This is probably like $8. And I could do all the valves and lap them. And, theoretically, it will help them to seat better. So if I can get away with spending $9 and getting these things to work right, I'm going to do that. So, you guys have any suggestions? I mean, if you guys have tried this before or have had a similar issue and you got some better advice for me, let me know. Drop it down in the comments section. But this is what I'm going with right now. I know a thing or two. I know my way around a vehicle, and I feel confident with this process, doing this. If there's something that I don't think it's not going to work, I'm not going to try it. But then again, I don't know everything, so that's why if you guys want to comment about that, then just let me know. notice I have the light shining through here so that I can see the outline of where I want to use my knife to cut along the edge here.